Yes, welcome to Tuesday's Sales Mindset and Belief Bootcamp. This session is all about why do buyers buy, the psychology behind why buyers buy. Because obviously, as entrepreneurs, as business owners, business leaders, people who need to sell, it's important that we understand our own psychology, our own feelings about sales. But in some ways, it's even more important that we understand how the buyer feels, because the sale is all about the buyer. It's not about the seller. And so by putting the buyer at the center of everything that we do, of all the decisions that we make around our sales process, our sales journey, our sales conversations, by making the buyer our central focal point, we stand a much bigger chance of success. If we focus on just ourselves as the salesperson, we stand less of a chance of success because we're making it about us. And some of the things that I was talking to you about yesterday were about how to disassociate your own sales fear, your own sales anxiety from the conversation and disassociate yourself from the outcome. Because the minute you make sales personal, it feels different. And the only sort of personal thing that you should associate with sales is how your buyer feels, how they feel before the sale, during the sale, and after the sale. So I'm going to be getting into that a little bit. So I can see we've got Louise. Hi, Louise, and hi, Robin. Nice to see you all here with me. It's lovely to know that I'm not alone. Before you jumped on, I was just confessing that I spray perfume before a live. Who does that? It's a bit crazy, isn't it? But it just helps me to feel energetic and to feel good so that I can show up for you with a smile and some energy. So yeah, let's get stuck in. So one of the things that I want to suggest that you do right now, or well, not right now, but today or tomorrow or sometime soon, is ask your clients, ask the people right now who are already working with you why they bought. Ask them to talk you through the sort of stages that they went through, the decision making stages. Because although I'm going to give you my view around sales psychology and sales process, it's more important for you to understand the people that are already working with you, are already in your groups, already in your programs. Maybe they've already bought your online courses, whatever it is that you do. Obviously, if you haven't got any clients yet, that's okay. You can't do that, but you can as soon as you win some, as soon as we get you to win some, then you can ask them, obviously, once they've bought, how did they make that decision? Because that insight is gold dust, I promise you. Some of the times when I've asked my clients, why did you buy that program? Why did you buy into that coaching program? They will tell me things that I would never have imagined. I thought it was based on something else. And they actually, when they talked me through it, it was like, oh, it was quite eye-opening, quite insightful. Things like conversations that they had with their husband, for example, where they were sat talking about making an investment into the business. That there's a particular lady I'm thinking about, the business that she wanted to build and how she had tried a few times and failed. And there was a conversation that she played back to me and between her and her husband, where she really needed his support to invest, because that was their family money. It wasn't her money to spend, it was their family money. They've got kids, and yeah, it's quite insightful to really get under the skin of how that buying decision is actually made. Sales doesn't have to be wham bam, thank you ma'am, get your money out, let's go ahead. It doesn't have to be like that. It's better if it's not like that. It's better if you allow people a bit of space and time to think about it. And if they do need to have a conversation with a loved one or a partner or just a friend or a colleague, that you allow them the space and the time to do that. They will trust you more, they'll respect you more. It doesn't have to be 100-mile-an-hour conversation. So you do this too, Louise. Oh, bless you. Oh, great. Louise, you are so in the right place, my dear. You are so in the right place. I'm going to look after you. Don't you worry. So I've got some notes here just to keep me on track, because I do have a tendency to go all over the place. So why do buyers buy? There are many factors. There are many, many, many factors. But there is only one key factor that is big enough to make the sale happen. And that factor is that they want to. That's it. They want to. The thing that you're promising them, the return on investment, the life change, the business change, the revenue change, whatever that is, they have to want that more than they want the money, or more than they want where they're at right now. So if at the moment they've got one client and they want five, they have to want five more than they want one. They have to look at the difference between what having one means and having five means, and they have to want that enough to make an investment. They don't have to want it enough to just talk about it, or want it enough to dream about it, or want it, thank you, I've got coffee, or want it enough to just journal about it or write diaries about it. We all do that in business. We all have goals. We all have aspirations. We all have things that we say that we want. But when I say they have to want it enough to invest in it, you have to really want it. Your client has got to absolutely believe that your program, your course, your coaching, whatever it is that you are selling to them, that your service is life-changing enough that they have to invest. So it's not a need or a problem or just something that they don't want to happen anymore. It's got to be a big want, a big desire, because they're going to weigh up their value perception. Okay, so this is the psychology that's going on. There's a value recognition versus a value appreciation. And people buy when they appreciate the value. They appreciate what it's going to do for them. They appreciate the value of your service, of your offer. So let's say you're trying to sell a high ticket item for $5,000 and you're asking somebody to invest $5,000 into a program with you. They have to want what they're going to get. They have to appreciate what they're going to get for that $5,000, and they have to want that so much more than just recognizing that it's a good program. So I use the analogy of buying a dress. I'll often use this analogy when I'm explaining it to somebody. You can walk into a shop, or you can be, on an online shop, and you can see a dress that you like. You like the color, the style, the cut, the fabric. It looks like your kind of dress. And you think, wow, that's a great dress. That would be great for that event that I'm going to, that wedding I'm going to, or whatever. And so you can recognize the value of that dress. Let's say it's a designer dress and it's expensive. And you can recognize the value in it because your heart is singing looking at it. You're thinking, really love that. That's so much better than all the other dresses that I've seen. I want that dress more than I want all the other dresses in my wardrobe right now. I want that dress. So you're recognizing the value. But that alone is not enough to make you buy it. The bit that's going to make you buy it is the value appreciation. So liking it, value recognition. Buying it is value appreciation. And that appreciation is being able to see that dress and being able to appreciate what that's going to do to your life, your feeling, the way that you look at that event, the way that you feel at that event, all the things that are going on for you emotionally, because buying decisions are not made in our head, they're made in our heart. They are not made with facts and figures. They are made with emotions. Facts and figures are taken into account, but emotions are what people buy on. So that value appreciation of the dress is, now that is going to look great on me. It's going to be worth the money because I'm going to look $1 million. I'm going to feel fantastic. I'm going to feel so much better than any of the other dresses I've got in my wardrobe right now. Do you know what? I'm buying it. I'm buying it. And there are some days when we would have that credit card whipped out of our purses so fast that we would buy that dress without a minute's thought because the desire is that strong. There are other days when we might have a little doubt creep in and say, do you really need that dress? Isn't that, blue dress that you wore to the last event? Is that, that's good enough? That'll look okay. And you've got shoes to go with it. And we talk ourselves out of it. Do you recognize that that is the way that you as a buyer buy? Can you resonate with what I'm saying? So, oh, the perfume, Louise. Brilliant. I thought you meant something else. Do you resonate with what I'm saying though? The buying process that you as a buyer go through. If that want, if that desire is so strong that the doubts sort of come in and fade away because the want, the need, the desire is so strong, then you will make the investment, and value appreciation is what's driven you to it. Okay, I hope this is making some sense. Okay, so that ultimately is why buyers buy. They buy because they appreciate the value. Take a piece of art, for example. You know, I use this analogy as well. You could see a great painting, you know, in an art gallery. I'm not really into art, but you can recognize the value in a great picture. But you wouldn't necessarily buy it. You would only buy it when you can really imagine which wall that would hang on in your house, how that would change the room it's going to hang in, and what value that would add to your life, to your home, to the way that you feel about it. So it's value appreciation that makes us buy. Okay, is this something that is resonating with you? So I can see we've got a comment here. Yes, you have to see the value in everything. Exactly. We all do it. We all do it. Take going for a cup of coffee. Think about yourself when you're in town, wherever you live, and you're walking around, you know, take COVID lockdown out of it. You're walking around town and you want to go for a cup of coffee. On this side of the road, you've got a local, independent, small, cheap coffee shop. And you're going to get a cup of coffee in there, and it's not going to cost you a lot of money. On this side of the road, you've got Starbucks. And we all know what we're going to get in a Starbucks, don't we? We all know what the menu's going to say. We know it's the same as every other Starbucks that we've been in. We know it's going to cost a little bit more than the local independent, because it just does, because it's Starbucks and it's a brand and it's a franchise. And we know what we're going to get, and we know it's going to cost us a little bit more. But further down the road, there's a high-end boutique coffee shop. Let's say, you know, it's Harrods. You've got the Harrods rooftop coffee bar that you could go to. When you are weighing up, where shall I go to get my cup of coffee? It's not as simple as where shall I go to get my cup of coffee? It's, do I want the coffee that's in the local indie? Do I want to feel the way that that local indie makes me feel? Do I just want to go and not really have to have any brain power behind the decision? I just want to get what I know I'm going to like in an environment that I know I'm comfortable in, you know, with things that I recognize around me. I want the security of Starbucks. Or do you throw caution to the wind and not think about the value, the cost, and you just say, no, I'm going to go to the rooftop coffee shop today. I know it's going to cost me more money, but I love it in there and I need a bit of a pick-me-up. I want to sit on that rooftop, and I want the most expensive coffee. I deserve it. I need it. What the hell? I'm having it. And you go. There are some days where you would make those decisions based on really different factors, really different variables, but they're all driven by your heart. They're all driven by your emotion and how that purchase is going to make you feel. So if you want to know which coffee shop I would go to, I would definitely be in the rooftop bar. I love a rooftop anything. So yeah, maybe you can start to imagine how you as a buyer, how you might make this decision. Okay, so let's start turning this to your sales process now. Let's start thinking about how you can use this information to improve the way that you win clients today. So talking of coffee, my husband's just brought me a coffee. Isn't that nice of him, hey? So your role in the sales process is firstly to understand your buyer. It's to ask enough questions to understand what they want, why they want it, and why and what is going to take them to that point of wanting it so badly that they invest. And your role is to understand that there are doubts and fears that are going to creep in along the way. And your role is to understand those and to be able to anticipate them so that you can alleviate their fears, you can reduce their concerns, and you can make your client feels safe and comfortable and reassured. That is your role in the sales process. And all the time that you're doing that, you are doing it with integrity. When I say that, I mean you're not going to sell them something that they don't want and need, right? So at any point, you're not going to allay their fears at all costs. You're not going to allay their fears and make them buy it whether they want it or not. You're going to only recommend things that people absolutely are going to get return on investment, whether that's financial or emotional. You're only going to sell when it's the right thing to do. Okay. So your role in the sales process is to reduce their concerns, reassure them, and make them feel safe. Make them feel comfortable to go ahead. Okay. So some of the things that, if you could go back now and ask all the people who didn't buy from you, what was the reason that they didn't buy? Some of the most common things that they will say to you are risk. I thought the risk was too high. Or loss. I had a fear of loss around what I was going to lose over what I was going to gain. I just saw the loss was bigger than the gain. They would say fear of failing. They might, if they were honest, say fear of success. Sometimes, particularly when we're selling coaching, people know that a coach will expect a lot of you. I expect a lot of my clients. I've got to give them a return on investment, which means they've got to do the work. There's no point somebody investing in working with me and then not working hard. What's the point of that? Because then I end up feeling terrible that they haven't got the results. I believe that I care about my clients' results more than any other coach on the planet. I'm sure that's not true. I'm sure every other coach, puts their clients' results at the top of the list, but I just know how passionate I am about return on investment and how important that is. So there is no point in failing to recognize that sometimes your clients might not buy because they fear success. They fear that actually, if you really lead them to the place that they want to go, it's going to change their life. And they're not totally sure that they want to go there. They're not sure that maybe they want to work as hard as they say they want to work, or how it will change or impact their life. So, you've got fear of failing and you've got fear of success. Other things that they might tell you if you ask them why they didn't buy, they might say ridicule. They didn't want to be ridiculed for investing in themselves and stepping up into a new life. They might say regret. Regret is the reason that they didn't buy. They didn't want to regret it. And because they didn't want to regret it, the easiest thing was just to not buy it. And so they've limited themselves. They've stifled their own potential, and they've done it knowingly. They've done it willingly. And so your role, if you're going to have successful sales in your business, you've got to be able to recognize when your ideal client might be feeling these feelings. And the best way to do that is to ask them. Is to ask them how they feel. And what I would encourage you to do is, rather than say, have you got any questions for me? People have got questions the whole time that you're selling to them. The whole time they've got questions. So don't ask them, have you got any questions? Ask them, what questions do you have? Assume that they've got questions. Assume that they've got some doubts. Encourage them to talk to you about their doubts, because you can only manage what you know. You can only deal with what you know. And if you don't know it, you can't handle it. Okay. So it's all about the way that you manage the journey that they're on. You're leading them to a place where they feel comfortable and excited and inspired to invest. Okay, so ask your clients why they choose to buy, and then recognize, as it says here on the slide, that your role is not to just push the sale. It's to manage their emotions on the journey towards the investment. That's a totally different way of seeing sales. Yeah. Are you guys getting some value out of this? Is this hitting a spot for you? Is this helping? Can you, I guess what I'd love to know from you guys who are watching is, can you, now we're talking about this, can you recognize that there might be some sales in the past where maybe you haven't made the sale, and now you can understand why? Maybe you can spot the fact that you didn't empathize with their fears enough, or you didn't invite the questions deep enough or well enough. I hope this is landing well for you. So yeah, doubts and fears, they are going to exist. They are going to exist with most people. I haven't actually leapt into my own coaching program for 2021 yet. And I'll be honest, it's because I've got doubts and fears, because it's a lot of money. A lot of money. I'm talking multiple thousands of pounds. And yeah, I've got doubts and fears. And until the coach that I want to work with, because there's no doubt in my mind, I know exactly what coach I want to work with. But until I can reduce those doubts and fears myself, I won't leap. I know I can leap at any point, and I am a bit of an impulsive buyer. So there is the potential that one day I'll just go, yeah, today's the day. We're going there. We're doing it. I'm investing. But I think I'm just in that weighing it up space. So I'd love to know, like, where you're at. Oh, you guys have got some comments here for me. So you attract people that want free coaching or expect free coaching. Yeah, that's definitely something that you can change with questions. So if you feel like you are attracting the freebie seekers, I would suggest that it's got something to do with the way that you're showing up, and that you might be friend zoned by some of your ideal clients. They might have built such a good relationship with you that they've just friend zoned you. And when they friend zone you, they assume that you want to help them because you care about them. And I'm not saying that if you sell to them, that means you don't care about them, but it's a contract. When they pay for your services, you are in a contract, and they are contracted to have expectations on you. Whereas if you're helping somebody for free, you are not contracted emotionally or financially. And so they're not going to get the best of you. And if they do get the best of you, then that's at your loss. So you're giving time and energy that you could be giving to your own business and to paying clients. So Louise, I'd say we got to deal with that for you, honey, because you can't be giving all your time for free. You might be able to get yourself that sort of up level in your mind by just putting your prices up. Because by putting your prices up, you increase your feeling of self-worth, and that will prevent you maybe from doing the free stuff. It might be as well that you haven't pitched early enough, and you've kind of, you've taken them up the hill, and then you're sort of coming down the other side as the friend, rather than taking them up the hill to where they invest and not trying to close the sale soon enough. So that's something maybe that tomorrow on the group coaching session we can talk about. So make sure you bring that question tomorrow, Louise. Yeah, questions. In terms of questions, if you're trying to draw out the urgency for an investment, then you need to be asking questions about investment. So you need to be able to summarize back to somebody, these are all the things that you've told me that you want. So, if I was going to use you as an example, Louise, I'd be saying, so Louise, during our conversation, I've understood that you want to achieve X, Y, and Z, and you want to do that in these time frames. And you've tried to achieve that in the past, but it hasn't worked because of these reasons. And, I hope that demonstrates that I've understood you. I'm confident I can get you to where you need to get to. What I really need to know is, how committed are you to making that happen? Are you committed enough to investing in it? And if you are, I'd love to hear, what is it worth to you? What is that life change worth to you? And so I would be drawing your client. You need to be drawing your client through that process where you summarize everything that you've learned from them, everything that they've told you about what they want and why they want it, play it back to them in a really neat summary, fairly high level, fairly quick, but in a summary. So, and use their name, so Louise, you've told me you want XYZ, you want it by this time frame. The cost of doing nothing is that this will happen. The benefit that you will get of enjoying that outcome is that this will happen, and you want that so badly. You've told me that you'll jump through a burning hoop to make that happen. So are you prepared to invest in it? Have you got budget set aside for this? What is your expectation of the investment level, and how are you going to measure return on investment? So a quick high level summary that leads you into what's it worth to you? What's it worth to you, and how are you going to measure success? Because that way you touch on the money side of things and it gets you into the sales conversation. Okay, so I saw Mark process, definitely recognizing the clients. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, the free coaching tomorrow, Louise, it should have pinged you the Zoom link into your calendar. So yeah, maybe check that after we come off here. And if you haven't got the Zoom link, let me know. But the way that I've got the group coaching set up is this: as soon as you book it, it will ping you a calendar link with a Zoom login details. So yes, and if anybody else would like to join the free coaching tomorrow night, I think there is one space available for tomorrow night. And I know the space is for next Wednesday night. So yeah, if anybody would like to join that free coaching session, you can. There is one space for tomorrow. So let's get back into this. So you recognize it's about you. It's about how you manage emotions throughout the sale. Okay. So this is your secret weapon. I want you all to know that you have a secret weapon in sales. It's not a fancy system. It's not a CRM. It's none of those things. Your secret weapon is you. It's you. Your clients buy you. They buy you and the results that you are promising them. So you have to recognize that somewhere in the sale, you need to show some vulnerability. You need to show that you want to work with them. One of the questions that I will often ask my clients at the sale point is, at this point, Mr. or Mrs. Client, I'm deciding whether or not I want to work with you, because I could work with lots of people. It's just that I only want to work with the people that I want to work with. I want to work with ambitious people, action-taking people, people who are committed. So the questions that I've been asking you, Mr. or Mrs. Ideal Client, is to help me ascertain whether you are committed and ambitious enough for me. Now I feel satisfied and comfortable and actually really excited at the idea that you are ambitious enough for me. What I now need to know is, am I a good enough fit for you? Because while we've been chatting, I've been interviewing you as a potential client for me, and you've been interviewing me back. So how do you feel about working with me? Now, that is a really vulnerable question, because at that point, you haven't talked money or investment or anything. But that's because there's no point. There's no point in talking about money or investment if you haven't made that connection. You have to make that connection. And sometimes the best way to do that is to bring in that little bit of vulnerability to say, do you think I'm a good fit for you? Do you think, as your coach, that you could open up to me? If I asked you some deep, personal, emotional questions, do you feel like you would even want to tell me? Because you can't work with a coach unless you feel that connection. You cannot work with a coach at surface level. If you're going to go in, you've got to go all in. You've got to absolutely go for it. So there needs to be that vulnerability, because you need to be at grassroots together. You need to build together, grow together. Coaching is not something that happens to you. It happens with you, for you. You're going together. And that's the same, whether you're selling consultancy, whether you're selling, a web design package or a virtual assistant package, you are going on a journey together. You're not making a sale and doing something to the customer, you're going together. So you have to have that sort of vulnerability to say, take my hand, let's go together. I want to support you, but you've got to want to get there too. Okay. So your secret weapon is you. Your biggest unique selling point is you. This comes down to mindset. You might log on your social media and anywhere else that you hang out online, and you might see people out there who do what you do. You might see people that deliver a service just like yours, and that little imposter creeps in, having a little nibble at your confidence. and it affects your mindset. It affects you massively. But what you must always remember, please always remember this, your best unique selling point is you. Nobody has your experience. Nobody has been where you've been. Nobody has learned what you've learned. Nobody has done all that in the way that you have done it. And nobody is going to be able to apply that to any program of work, any service that can be offered. Nobody is going to be able to bring it in the same way that you can. So, if an ideal client has booked a discovery call with you, is in your group with you, think about your group, Louise. Now you're going to be growing your group. Nobody is going to be in your audience, in your world, in your online world, unless they want to be. People put themselves where they want to hang out. They have the opportunity every day to opt out of your group or unfollow you or opt out of the discovery call that they booked a few days ago. If they are there though, and they dial into that discovery call, you've got to know, and you've got to be absolutely, confident in this. They're there for a reason. They already buy into you. They already buy into what they know of you. And trust me, they will have done some research on you. They will already have known before they book that discovery call that you look like a good fit for them. So the sale is already so far down the journey that you don't want to ruin it by bringing your less confident self and not recognizing that you are the secret weapon. It's you. You are the magic sauce. You are, what is it, the Nando's, the hot chili, that everybody raves about. You are the magic sauce. You are the thing that's going to take that relationship and turn it into what that ideal client wants. So please recognize that you are the absolute reason that they are there. So my final slide is just to remind you about the coaching. I don't need a slide for that because we've already talked about it. It's just to remind you about the coaching session tomorrow. I'm keeping the group coaching sessions to 6 people only. And that's just so that we've got time to drill into everybody's questions, and we've got time to, for me to add some proper value to you rather than sort of skimming it at surface level. I'll also be online tonight live at 9 o'clock. So the group coaching, just so that I can explain the difference, the group coaching on Wednesdays, that is something that I'm doing so that I can get to know people in the group more. I can support them more. It's not necessarily linked to the bootcamp. It's just something that I do to get to know people in my world. It's part of my sales process. I want to role model to you what good sales process looks like. And so I'm giving you value, because if you're going to have a good sales system and a good process, you're going to have to lead with value, because people have to buy into you before they buy into anything that you ask them to invest in. So the group coaching is something that I do at, not every week, but I do it at intervals, throughout the year, where I can build deeper relationships and just offer some free value. Doesn't mean I'm going to be ramming a sales pitch down your throat on the group coaching. That's not what I'm saying. But if you were going to sort of use that process in your own business, then you would use that as a launch pad into relationships that are good enough to make a sale on the back of. So group coaching on a Wednesday is 6 people only. It's in Zoom in a room, and it's not broadcast. I'm not going to share it live. It's private. It's an intimate, private session, a group coaching session. The same as what I would have on one of my paid group programs. It's a private, intimate Zoom session. Tonight, though, I will be going live where people can just come as part of Bootcamp and ask me questions, any questions that you've got related to maybe yesterday's classes or today's classes, or any other sales question that you've got. I'm happy to just do ask me anything, and I will hopefully be able to answer it for you. So we can get into all sorts of challenges maybe that you're having. So yes, I'm excited too, Louise. I am excited too, because whilst I love going live and I love, sharing this stuff with you, it's a whole different ballgame when we're in a Zoom room together, because we can get to know each other properly, and I can add some better support for you. So just to finish off today's topic on why do buyers buy, and why you and how you, as the unique selling point, the magic sauce, the secret weapon in your business, you are what it's all about. The way that you handle your ideal clients when they're in a sales process with you is absolutely vital. And some of the skills and behaviors that we as entrepreneurs, we as business owners need to develop, maybe we're not always prepared for when we start our businesses, that we have to bring these skills to our business. So some of the things are empathy. You need to be able to demonstrate empathy. You aren't going to be good as an entrepreneurial seller in your business if you can't empathize with your clients, because they're going to bring all sorts of problems and challenges. And the first thing you need to do is empathize with where they're coming from so that you can understand them better. Listening, on the same sort of topic, you aren't going to be able to understand them better if you don't have listening skills. Patience. Clients aren't always going to do what you want them to do when you want them to do it. So yes, in an ideal world, your client would make a decision there and then on a discovery call, and you would get the sale and be able to celebrate. It's not always going to work like that. It's not always going to work like that. So we're going to have to be patient. So patient is another skill that you need to harness for you to get really good at sales in your business. The other things, expectation. You need to be comfortable putting expectation on your clients. You need to be comfortable asking for commitment. You need to be able to say, this is what I'm going to bring. What are you going to bring? And then be confident enough to just stay quiet. My commitment to you is this. What's your commitment to me? And then silence. You'd be amazed how many times people who 10 minutes ago said, I'll do anything, Rachel. I want to win 5 new clients a month. I'll do anything. And then I say, well, my commitment is I will do this for you. Well, what are you going to bring? And they're like, well, I thought you were going to do it for me. No, I'm not going to win the clients for you. You're going to win them yourself with my support. So, if I'm going to commit all this, you've got to commit some stuff. You've got to commit time. You've got to commit energy. You've got to commit effort. So one of the skills you need to get really good at is asking for commitment and calling somebody out on it if they don't think, or they don't demonstrate to you that they're prepared to give commitment. Inspiration. You need to harness your best inspirational skills, because sometimes you need to inspire people to act because they might not feel ready or able or willing, and you need to bring inspiration. Reassurance. You need to be able to reassure your clients. They're going to need that. And another skill is security. People operate best in sales conversations when they feel secure. If they feel insecure, they feel that you're about to push them, pressure them, overly influence them, then they will feel at risk. They will feel insecure. If you make them feel secure and you reassure them that you have their best interests at heart and that you aren't a salesperson who just wants the cash at the end, you are going to need to behave that way throughout the whole journey, the whole sales journey, because the minute you behave like a salesperson, or what their perceived view of a salesperson is, where most people's perceived view is it's pushy and influential, the minute you behave like that, they're going to back away. And so you need to be able to bring the skills of making somebody feel safe and secure. And if they feel safe and secure, they're much more likely to buy. Okay, so I thought I'd just leave you with that, just because that might get you thinking about the way that you show up, the way that you maybe write some of your content, the way that you interact online or in groups or wherever you're interacting with your ideal clients. Because know this, guys, whether they're buying from you right now, they are watching you. There are people watching what you are doing online right now, not in a weird stalkery way, but they are watching you and assessing whether or not you are somebody that they might want to work with. That is why they're in your audience, okay? Not everybody's there for that reason. Some other people might be there to copy you, to mimic you, to learn from you. Some other people might be there because they think you're an ideal client for them. So they might be there waiting to sell to you. And so you've got to be aware of all these different people in your audience, but don't focus on anybody else other than the people that are your ideal clients. And if they are in your audience right now, they are watching you, they are assessing whether or not you're a good fit. And so you've got to behave at all times in a way that reassures them and makes them feel comfortable and safe and secure that you are somebody that if they booked a discovery call with you, that you would treat them well. You would treat them with respect, you would listen, you would empathize, you would understand them, and you would recommend a solution. They have to feel that way, otherwise they're never going to book a call. Okay, so that's it from me. I will stop chatting now and let you get on with your day. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I will be here later for a second class today. Is that a question? Hi Penny, did you say that we could watch the Zoom this Wednesday? So I've got 2 classes on Wednesday, Penny. So if you guys want to know what all the classes are, just go to the events area in the group, and all the classes are listed in the events area. The free group coaching, I will drop the link for that underneath this video, but it's a free group session, it's private, and it won't be broadcast live. Because if I broadcast live somebody bringing me their most intimate challenges, so, you know, on that group coaching, I have people say, Rachel, I can't get any clients. They don't want me broadcasting that to the world. So I keep it as a private session. So the Wednesday session is intimate in Zoom and therefore not broadcast live. But tonight and tomorrow, I will just dive on quickly live in the Facebook group and do a bit of a call out. Has anybody got any questions? If nobody shows up, I'll just duck out. If people show up and ask me questions, I will stay on. So it's that simple. At 9 o'clock tonight and tomorrow night, I will do a live Q&A. So that's different, you know, from the Wednesday free session. I know there's a lot going on. It's probably a bit confusing to get your head around, but I'll just keep reiterating it every time I do a class, exactly how it's going to work. And I will have changed out my gym kit by then, because I've got my fluffy cardigan on, but this is actually my gym kit underneath here. So you health coaches, so Louise, you'd be proud of me. I am keeping up with my little health regime. It's going very well so far. So I hope I get to the end of the week so I can celebrate week 1 done. That'd be amazing. So yeah, that's it from me. And I will hopefully see a number of you later for the second class today, if not at 9 o'clock for the Q&A, where you can ask me anything you like, anything about sales, anything about business growth, entrepreneurship, anything at all. I will answer anything for you. So I will see you then. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.